Lifting heavy is the best way to get strong, but it can also be pretty risky. I'm going to teach you super simple method for getting stronger in the gym without getting injured so you can actually make progress for years to come. Yo, what's up everybody? I'm Cyrus. I'm a natural lifter, been lifting for 15 years, been researching for over a decade, and now I teach everything I learned and all this experience I've gained, and I teach skinny 90 guys how to build muscle. So when it comes to getting stronger without getting injured, there's really a few core ideas that you actually need to focus on. I would say the number one most important thing you could do is just focus on getting a super good warm up. How to warm up as a natural lifter is super easy, super quick. It shouldn't take you too long. A lot of you guys, maybe you do this yourself, you spend way too much time warming up, which is going to be detrimental to your working sets because by then you'll probably be too tired if you've warmed up for too long. So what does a good, simple, proper warm up look like? Pretty much figure out whatever your first few exercises are going to be for your workout. So for example, if you're going to be squatting today for your workout, then it only makes sense to warm up with squats. So what does that look like? For me, I do a couple body weight squats. I don't even do the bar yet. I do a couple of squats with body weight. I'll do like a set or two of like 10, maybe 15. After that, I'll throw the bar on. I'll do like sets of 10 to 20. Sometimes I'll even, if I'm feeling it, like if I really need to get a good pump of blood flow in, I'll do like 30 reps in a row, sometimes even 50. And I'll do that, and that'll really get the blood flow going. And on these sets with the bar, when the weight is empty, I'm like going as deep as I can, like ATG as low as possible, really trying to get a good stretch in so that when the weight does get heavy, I do actually have weight in there on the bar. I'm actually warmed up, stretched out, and I'm like ready to go. So after that, I'll do a set of the bar, or I'll do a couple sets with the bar empty. I'll throw one plate on, and I'll do like, anywhere between 2 to 10 reps. And I say 2 because sometimes I'm only feeling like doing 3 or 4 reps. Sometimes I'm a little bit looser and I'm ready to go and I can do like 10 reps in a row. Usually I'll do like 1 or 2 sets on the bar with one plate. And I'll keep it pretty low. Then I'll do a set of 2 plates, and then I'll go straight to 3 plates, and there you go. That's my working set. Super easy, and that goes with any exercise really. So I'll give you an example. Like if I'm going to bench press, it's super simple too. I'll hop on the bench press. I'll do the bar, and I'll do the bar for like literally 50 reps in a row. And it gets me really loose, really ready to go. And these are like really quick touch and go reps. Touch your chest, bounce up and down pretty quick. This is really just to get blood flow in your arms and your elbows and your shoulder joints, just so like your body's really warmed up and ready to go. And it's okay to warm up a lot with the bar because it's not super like taxing on your working sets. But if you're like throwing a plate on and you're doing like 3 or 4 sets of just one plate on the bar, like you're warming up way too much. You don't need that much. You're going to be tired by the time you actually get to your working sets. So this is what it typically looks like for me. I'll do the bar for 1 or 2 sets of anywhere between like literally 10 and 50 reps, just depending on how much I need. Then I'll go straight into one plate and I'll rep that out for like 10, and then I'll go straight to my 2 plates, rep that out. That's my working set, and then I'll go in a little bit heavier if I'm feeling it. So like 245, 275, that's my working set for like 4 or 5 reps, and boom, there you go, that's it. And this goes for any exercise you're doing. And I really only warm up on the first few compound lifts I'm doing that day. By the time I'm done with my working sets for my compound lifts, so whether that be squat, deadlift, pull-ups, rows, bench, whatever I'm doing, by the time it gets to the point in my workout where I'm doing accessory exercises like bicep curls or like shrugs for my traps or like calf raises or something like that, by that time I don't necessarily need to warm up anymore because I'm already pretty warmed up for my working sets on the compound lifts. And at that point I can typically just go straight into my working sets for the smaller muscle groups, and you should be able to do the same too. There's going to be cases where you still need to warm up, and it's okay to do a warm-up set here and there. But if you don't feel like you're already warmed up, or if you feel like you're already warmed up and you feel like you don't need it, then you don't really need to do it. You're just spending extra time in the gym that you don't really need to spend in there if you can go straight into your working sets. Another thing that I wanted to talk about that is related to getting stronger without getting injured, that isn't warming up, is having a proper split. A proper split will determine like the frequency of how often you go to the gym and the frequency of which muscles you train and how often. So for example, if you do push-pull legs, typically, you would, some of you guys do, maybe you do this, maybe you do push-pull legs times 2. So it's a 6-day workout split. You do your push day, pull day, leg day, then you repeat it again, push day, pull day, leg day. Then you typically have 1 rest day. This is really effective, and this is what I used to do back in the day when I first started lifting. And I did make tons of gains. However, it was a lot of volume, and I wasn't really able to like recover super quickly. And although I was getting stronger and I was making gains, I was putting myself at risk for injury, and I did happen to actually get hurt. I was benching all the time, and I messed up my wrist, tweaked my back even, just from excessive deadlifting and squats all the time, and it's just too much for me. And that's why you need to find a balance and pick a good split that works best for you, to the point that yes, you are still training, and yes, you're being effective, and yes, you're like stimulating the muscles, but you're also getting enough time to properly recover as well too. So that's just why I personally teach full body workouts 2 times a week. I think it's perfect for naturals. If you're a natty guy, if you're under 30, if you're trying to put on muscle, build muscles quickly and as efficiently as possible, I think this is one of the best ways to do it. I've been training this way for like 7 or 8 years now, and it just works because you have so much time of recovery in between, to the point that you can train super, super, super hard. Like I go super hard in the gym, but I also give myself plenty of time to recover, so I'm never putting myself at risk of injury. There's one more thing I want to talk about, and that is deloads. Deloads are kind of for like intermediate lifters at the very least, I would say. If you're a beginner, yes, a deload can still be beneficial, but you're more likely to use it in the intermediate and advanced stage of your lifting career. So what are deloads for those of you who don't know? I'll explain it real quick just in case you've never done one before. It's super easy. A deload is basically like a deload week. It's where you take a week off of lifting, and it can come in, you can do it in different variations and different forms as well too. So pretty much it's exactly what it sounds like. You take a week off of lifting, you don't do any lifting at all, and you do this in order to give your body enough time to recover, to build back up what you've been training, and it just gives yourself plenty of time to work on your recovery. That way your body can get back to like tip-top shape. Now, you don't always have to take an entire week off of like no training. There's also other forms of deload weeks that you can do as well too. So, for example, instead of taking an entire week off, you can still do your training, but maybe you just lower your volume down. So instead of doing like 4 sets on every single exercise that you may typically do, what you can do instead that week is just do 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, I'm sorry, but 2 sets for every single exercise. So you're pretty much cutting your volume in half, but you would ideally keep the weights the same. This is one variation of a deload week. Another one you can do is where you lower the weights instead of lowering the sets. So let's say you typically work with 100 pounds for an exercise. Let's say for this week, instead of doing that, you keep the sets the same. So you still do 4 sets, but you just lower the working weight to like 50 pounds instead of 100. So you literally half it. Now, you don't always have to half it. You can always, decrease it by 40 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever it is you think is best for you. It's about picking a number to the point where, you're giving yourself a proper break for that week, which is why it's called a deload. So those are 3 different variations. Those are the core 3 I think you should stick to. And when to use a deload week, there's a few different variables. Typically, I like to incorporate deload weeks into my training when I've hit like a significant plateau where I feel like I can't grow, I'm not seeing any gains, or I can't get like my numbers on a certain exercise to go up. That's an example of when I might do a deload week. Another example of when you could use a deload week is if like you just feel like you're burnt out, you feel like you're overtrained, you feel like your body's always aching. That might be a sign that you could use a proper deload week and give your body some time to rest and recover. So that's it. Those are the 3 things. I would give those things a shot just to ensure that you're not going to put yourself at risk for getting injured while still maintaining your strength and getting as strong as possible. So we talked about the importance of a good warm-up, so make sure you're super warmed up. I'll throw one more thing in. Band work is really good. So like if you're going to be benching or pressing a lot during your exercise or during your workout, you can do band work. So you grab a red band and you do like tricep push downs, you do bicep curls, stuff like that. I'll try to tag a video in here, that way you guys can see. That stuff's really good. It gets a lot of blood flow pumped through your elbows, and this will help with like elbow pain and like shoulder pain throughout your benching or like overhead pressing. And I simply like recommend it just to warm up as well too, because it also helps with your joints staying loose, and it helps with like elbow health overall as well too. So that stuff's really good. But we also talked about workout splits. So make sure whatever split you're doing, you have enough time to recover. And you're not training so often to the point that like you are going into workouts super, super sore to the point that you're like at risk of injury. And then the last thing we talked about was deloads. Like I said, these are more for the intermediate or the advanced lifter. However, if you are a beginner and you're watching this like yourself, maybe it still could be beneficial to you. Just be kind of logical and reasonable about it. Like, don't do a deload week if you're just not even training at all. Deload weeks are if you need them, if you hit a plateau, or if you are training super, super hard and you feel like you need a good break. So that's it. Hopefully you guys learned something. Peace out. See you on the next video.